Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Jason McIntyre, back here on Talk the Line, looking at Week 3's games. Joining me today is Sam Panayotovich from Chicago, the Windy City. How you doing, Sam?
I'm ready to walk that walk, but more importantly, J-Mac, I'm ready to talk that talk. Let's roll.
Nice. Let me start. I'd love to start out with a fun fact. I mean, for the trend bettors out there, teams that are 0-2 against the spread heading into Week 3 over the last 10 years, hitting at 62%. That's a number you're going to want to remember. All right, Sam, let's get started. Dallas and Seattle, probably the marquee game of the week after the Monday Night Football tilt. Dallas currently 5.5-point underdogs after that thrilling comeback against the Falcons. Seattle, of course, had their own great performance Sunday night against Cam Newton, holding on to win. Line's 5.5 total. Huge. 56.5. Sam, any lean either way?
I might wait this out and take the Cowboys. If I can get 6, I mean, I like it actually, a lean at 5.5. I just feel like this number is a little too high because guess what? The country has watched the Seahawks, and namely Russell Wilson, march his way toward that MVP top spot in the leaderboard. I mean, he's like 3-1 right now to win the MVP. And what did we all watch on Sunday night? Well, they outlasted the Patriots 35-30. So Seattle looks really good, and Dallas should have lost to the Atlanta Falcons. But Dan Quinn does what Dan Quinn does. So I'm thinking the number here, I mean, the look ahead, remember, the look ahead was Seattle -3.5. Yeah. I saw one book had -3. So I feel like the verdict here is to take the Cowboys. It won't be a sexy play. People won't like it. You know, public bettors won't like it. But I feel like that's too many. I mean, Seattle by 3, Seattle by 4. I could certainly see that. And Dak Prescott is good enough to keep the Cowboys in this game.
Yeah, I just worry, Sam, about this Dallas defense, especially the secondary. The injuries really mounting. I think 2 quarterbacks missed practice this week, another one on IR. Russell Wilson, as you said, the MVP leader. It definitely feels to me like an overplay. I know 56.5 is a monster number. I think that's the highest total this week, although we'll see what happens with Chiefs-Ravens. I don't know. My inclination is to avoid the side and just take the over here. Life's too short to bet under, Sam. I can't imagine either defense showing up here.
And I wonder what the number closes at, because when we get closer to kickoff, people are going to look at this game and go, I kind of like the over, right? I mean, This might actually close 58. I mean, we saw a game, J-Mac, with 79 points last week.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you like the over, a lot like in college football, when you like Alabama or Georgia, if you like overs in the NFL, bet them earlier because odds are good with these two teams. The total's only going to go up.
I'm with you. All right. On to the next. Oh, no, we're going to do a prop bet, Sam. Yes, prop bets are very fun. Let's see the prop bet for this one. Dak Prescott over under 299.5 passing yards. So Cam Newton, we dusted the cobwebs off him last week, and he shredded the Seattle secondary. I mean, Dak Prescott over under 299.5. That feels like a layup to me. Plus, -110. Are you emptying the bankroll on this one, Sam?
I'm never going to empty the bankroll, but I will go under here, and here's why. I think the recipe for Dallas is to run the damn football. I mean, Zeke Elliott, you have a great offensive line. I think Dallas might actually surprise people. What if they go up in this game 7-0 or 10-0? If that's the case, you can just drill them to death on the ground. I think that's a high number for a reason because, like you said, Seattle has been known to give up a lot of chunk yards in these 2 games so far. But I wouldn't be stunned at all if Mike McCarthy ran the ball. What if Dak has 290 yards? It's a good game, but it's not enough to win your bet. So I'll take the under here. I'll go under 299.
Interesting. Regarding the offensive line, Tyron Smith, the great left tackle, he has been iffy this week. I didn't think the offensive line looked great protecting Dak against the Falcons. I know Atlanta has a terrible pass rush, but Seattle has no pass rush at all. So I'll take the over. We'll go head to head on that one. All right, on to the next game, Sam. We are looking at the Green Bay Packers getting 3.5 in New Orleans. Now, this is one of those narrative games, right? The Green Bay Packers 2-0 against the spread. They look great. How are they getting points? Well, it's easy because the New Orleans Saints look like garbage on an island game Monday night. And this has gone between 3.5. It seems like there's 2 warring factions here. If you like the Packers, obviously you're taking the hook. And if you see you're flat 3, you got to take the Saints. I am looking hard at the New Orleans Saints in a bounce back spot. Total 52.5. I actually like the under there, Sam. Your thoughts?
I agree with you on the under, but I have to disagree with you on the Saints. Because in years past, all right, we go back into the Dome. They're going to be drinking tequila and vodka all day, and they're going to get wild. Well, we don't have fans this year, so it's a little bit different. And I also don't know that Drew Brees can throw the ball 30 yards anymore. I mean, he did not look great on Monday night. And I'll tell you what, Michael Thomas has been his security blanket over the last handful of years. That offense is not the same with Michael Thomas off the field. And it'll be interesting, too. I think this plays into your under here. No Michael Thomas, and odds are good we won't have Devontae Adams, the Packers. Those two quarterbacks are so good when they have their full Rolodex of weapons. No Thomas, no Adams. I want to play the Saints here situationally. It's a good spot, but I just don't have faith in Brees like I did 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. So it's a pass on the side. I could roll with you, though, on the under. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Let me try to sell you on the Saints here real quick. So they did average 7.5 yards per play against the Raiders Monday night, and we just don't know how good the Packers are. I mean, essentially, they look great, beating two mediocre teams at best. And I just think the Saints defense a little underrated. Listen, Sam, if not for the penalties, they had 10 penalties for 129 yards against the Raiders. I think the Saints probably win that game. They were up 17-7 late first half before it all fell apart. And I like Kamara having a big game here. Let's take a look at the prop bet, Sam. Aaron Jones of the Green Bay Packers, who was unstoppable last week against lowly Detroit. Over under 67.5 rushing yards. So maybe they're missing a 1 in front of the 67. I think Josh Jacobs had that early third quarter. Aaron Jones, 67.5, Sam.
I think you're being baited here. I agree with you. Like, this number being 67.5 makes no sense here. So if you like the Saints, though, and it sounds like you like the Saints, that means the Packers are going to be down in this game, and Aaron Rodgers might throw the ball 40 times. So look, if that's the way the game plays out, Aaron Jones is not going to rumble for 70-plus yards. The number looks like it's too low. It's that low for a reason. It's like betting a Jets-Bills game over 37 and be like, wait a minute, there's no points. Like, yeah, because the number's 37 because both teams score. I think this number is where it is for a reason, and I would lean under that very low number.
Interesting. All right, onward to our next game, Sam. And this one is probably my favorite bet of the week. I hate to give it away this early in the show. Tampa Bay favored by 6 in Denver. We all know the history of Denver in September. They have that huge altitude advantage. Total 43.5. That's kind of a low total for a 6-point spread. But Sam, listen, this is a beat up Denver team. I mean, when you look at the quarterback, Driscoll, I know he showed well in the second half. Pittsburgh clearly wasn't ready for him, but they did sack him 6 times, and they can't protect Driscoll at all. I look at the running back situation. Lindsey out. Their top cornerback, A.J. Bouye, he's out. I like nothing about this Denver team. I love Tampa Bay in this spot. I still think there's actually value on the Bucs, just simply because of what we saw the opening week. Everybody says, Brady's washed. He's not any good. Well, the next week they should have crushed Tampa by 1 million, but they had 7 drops by pass catchers. I love everything about Tampa here.
I'd look at the under in this game. I think it's fascinating that everybody is betting the Buccaneers 90% of the bets, 90% of the cash, but the line hasn't budged. We just showed the graphic, 6, 6, 6. Like, every day it's 6. Why is it not 6.5? Why is it not 7? That means respected money somewhere is betting the Broncos. That doesn't mean that it's right. I mean, don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean that it's the right move, but something is holding this line steady at +6. I'm with you. I don't believe in Jeff Driscoll or Blake Bortles to win me a football game and cover a football game. I like the under. This could be like 28-7 Tampa Bay. Maybe it's 21-17. I don't know. I like under more than I like the side. I hate those square public road favorites. I'm going to pass the side, but I think under 43.5 is a really good bet.
And Chris Godwin, we should say, is returning. He's out of concussion protocol. He's going to play. Mike Evans got back his, mojo with Brady against Carolina. We know Carolina's defense stinks, but Denver, tough to make a case for. All right, the prop bet for this one, Sam, we have Tom Brady, over under 1.5 passing touchdowns. Now, you just said 28-7, Sam, so I guess you'd lean to the over here, huh?
It's funny how that works, though. When you ask a math guy if he likes -150, I'm ready to jump out the window. I hate laying on a prop, but, I mean, it's juiced that way for a reason. If you make me pick a prop, I'm not going under. I guess I'd have to swallow some juice here and lay -150. He's good for 2.
Yeah, I'm with you. If you watched last week, Ben Roethlisberger just ate this Denver secondary up. They don't look very good. The pass rush is toothless. Again, I'm with you. -150 is way too rich for my blood, but I like the bet. On to the next game, Sammy. We have the Las Vegas Raiders after that great Island game showing. I can hear the Brinks truck backing up in the audio here. New England favored by only 6.5. Bill Belichick off a loss. We know that narrative. Total 47.5. Sam, this is an empty your bankroll game, correct?
No, don't empty the bankroll. Stop doing it. You know what?
Not during week 3?
No, not during week 3, not during week 10, not during week 17. I will say, though, this is just a buzzsaw spot situationally for the Raiders. They could lose this game, by 2 or 3 touchdowns. It's a very bad spot. Short rest. They just played on Monday night, and everybody watched the game. Everybody's like, oh, maybe the Raiders are good. Maybe Vegas is good. I would go way, way away from that Raiders side here. New England's the play. They're going to suffocate that Raider defense. Darren Waller is going to see Bill Belichick footage in his nightmares. This is a bad spot for the Raiders here. Well-rested Patriots. Bounce back spot. Back home in Foxborough. I would lay the number here and lay it before it gets to 7.
Yep.
Lay 7 when you can lay 6.5.
Yeah, this is going to be a great survivor pool pick. It'll be a teaser leg, but I like 6.5 a lot here. As you said, Darren Waller's going to struggle. Patriots through 2 games have given up 4 catches to tight end. That's it. I mean, they're going to lock him down. I would expect Gilmore on him. And like you said, Monday night, island game, everybody sees how good they look. But did anybody notice that Richie Incognito left the game and he's now on IR? And Trent Brown, their left tackle's injured. 2 offensive linemen down. Carr's going to have a rough night. I love the Patriots in this spot. The prop bet we got, Sam, is Darren Waller. Oh, look at that. It's like they're listening to us. Under 6.5. Oh boy. Take it away.
Is that a typo? That's got to be a typo. There's no way it's 6.5. If it's 6.5, I might empty the damn bankroll now.
Wait, I think he had 18 targets on Monday Night Football. I mean, geez.
Belichick always takes away your best weapon. I mean, don't we all know that by now? He is not catching. If I could make a lock of the day, it would be under 6.5 receptions on Waller.
I mean, they'll definitely keep everything in front of him. They don't get beat deep, and I don't think Belichick's worried about Ruggs and Renfro. It's going to be a long day for the Raiders. I love New England. I'm with you. All right, on to the next game, Sam. We have, I think this is a pretty decent game. Kansas City getting 4. Patrick Mahomes getting 4 points at Baltimore. We know the Ravens are a juggernaut. They won 14 straight regular season games, favored by 4, total 54. Sam, I don't know. This is, I got a tough time giving the best quarterback in football, with apologies to Lamar Jackson, 4 points anywhere. I don't care if it's Pluto. I don't care if it's a neutral field. Pat Mahomes getting 4. I've got to look hard at that. Your thoughts?
I think you sort of hinted at it, so I'll finish what you were saying. I don't want to bet against either team, to be honest. And I will say that this total is going to get driven up as well. Open 52. I see 53.5, and I see some 54s now. So I imagine this is probably only going to get higher. If you like the over in this game, again, bet it now, because by the time we get to Monday night, it's going to be 55.5, it's going to be 56. So bet the over now if you like it. If you like the under, you might want to wait. I can't tell you, though, a lot of sharp groups I know, they laid 3 and they laid 3.5 with the Baltimore Ravens, because they think in the power ranking scheme of things, they believe Baltimore is the best team in the NFL. I'm with you. I don't really want to bet against Patrick Mahomes because the guy is never out of a game. But Baltimore is getting respected money in the market from 3 to 3.5 to 4. That's a big move.
I would only disagree with you on the total. And the Ravens, we saw them last week against the Texans, over 200 yards rushing. They just want to rush it down your throat, play some keep away from Mahomes. And if you watch the Chargers last week, they had success. I think over 150 yards on the ground, kept that low scoring. Now, I know that was a divisional matchup, a lot of familiarity. But if I'm the Ravens, I'm slowing things down and running the football all over the Chiefs. Because Patrick Mahomes, he's going to break out. He has not looked particularly sharp the first 2 weeks. He's facing a lot of zone defense. I like this Ravens defense. I would actually lean to the under. And Sam, a bigger picture thing we could talk about. Overs have hit at something insane, approaching 70%, I believe, in the first 2 weeks. Eventually, these markets get efficient. I think we see some unders this weekend, and I would look under on the Monday night game.
Yeah, 20 of 32 have gone over. Yeah, 60%. So I'm not saying, look, I didn't say I like the over. I said if you like the over, you like the over, you probably want to bet this number because it's only going to go higher. I actually lean to the under. I agree with you there. I think this is probably like, a 28-24 game. That's 52. But, hey, look, if it's 55, 56, every point counts. Every point matters in the NFL.
Yeah. All right. The prop bet for Chiefs Ravens It's a juicy one. Patrick Mahomes over under 2.5 passing touchdowns. Now, you can tell by the juice what's going on here. Unders minus 125. So Mahomes, again, he hasn't looked particularly sharp early. But again, like, it's Patrick Mahomes. We've got a 2-year body of work that's largely incredible. One of the best starts to a career for someone under the age of 25 at the position of quarterback. I don't know. I would look to the over here. Patrick Mahomes, 2.5 passing touchdowns.
Yeah, only because of the price, right? Plus 150, I'd lean over. I never like laying minus money on a prop. I'll tell you a funny story real quick. Last year, Mahomes threw 4 touchdowns in a game with a passing yardage prop of 300. He landed on like 295 and went the over and goes, oh, Mahomes sucks. I'm like, yeah, 4 touchdowns. He threw for 295 yards. Just because you lost your prop bet doesn't mean he sucks. I agree with you. I mean, he's probably not going to throw 3 touchdowns, but at plus 150, all of a sudden I'm a little interested.
Yeah, and also the run game with Edwards-Helaire. We know that they've been leaning on him heavily at over $125 against the Texans. Couldn't get really loose against the Chargers. This Ravens run defense is a lot better with Calais Campbell in there and the first-round draft pick at linebacker. So that's a prop you may want to stay away from.
Travis Kelce will be a weapon, too, in the end zone because they go more Kelce than they do to the backs in the especially inside the 10.
Big advantage, yes. Great point. On to the next game. Sam, I don't know about this one. Minnesota at home getting 2.5 against the juggernaut that is Tennessee. They go to the AFC title game, Sam. Everybody loves Tennessee. Quietly, they're 0-2 against the spread, but I don't know that matters. Now, this is 2 teams that are 0-2 against the spread meeting. Now, Sam, if there's fans in the stadium, Minnesota, Zimmer, early, I think you got to go to Minnesota, but it's tough to make a case. That's a defense without its best player, Anthony Barr. It looks like their top cornerback, Dantzler, is going to miss the game. Mike Hughes, their number 2 corner, is injured. Listen, I don't love Tennessee this year, Sam, but it's tough. I feel like there's like a magnetic attraction to the Titans under a field goal here.
I'll take the Vikings. I think the Vikings win the game outright. Now, how can I say that? Well, this will be the most lopsided game probably in the NFL this Sunday. I talked to a bookmaker in Vegas who said he hasn't written 1 ticket yet on the Minnesota Vikings, and that line actually touched 3 before it got hit back to 2.5. Everybody's going to bet the Titans here because it's a 2-0 team going on the road to face a team that perceptionally sucks. We all know that. Nobody thinks Minnesota's any good. But I think Minnesota's actually had better competition than the Tennessee Titans. They're at home. They're desperate. They need this game more than the Titans do. I think the Vikings are going to win this one like 21-20. How about a last-second field goal from the Vikings? Get me inside that number. Give me an outright winner on the Vikings. It won't be pretty, and you won't like to play it, but you'll like the result. That's
bold. Now, I will say, to defend you, the Tennessee Titans, their secondary is a mash unit right now. It's ugly. They can't stop anybody. I mean, Gardner Minshew just sliced and diced them. I worry about stopping the run. The Vikings, they can't get any pressure on quarterbacks. They can't stop the run. And now you got Derrick Henry. You load up Derrick Henry, you just run the football, play keep away from Kirk Cousins, who has looked as bad as Carson Wentz the first 2 weeks. Total 49.5. Do you have a lean, Sam, either way?
Probably lean to the under here. Power run for Tennessee. And, yeah, I don't like betting overs with Kirk Cousins. But this is going to be one of those games that everybody's going to watch on Sunday, and they're going to be scratching their heads going, wait, how did the Titans lose to the Vikings? It doesn't make any sense. But that's life in the NFL. Look, the Colts and Packers have really good offenses. They can throw the ball as far as they want on the field. They have good receivers. Tennessee, not so much. This is a bet against Tannehill, and it's a bet against the Titans. I think they're a little overinflated here.
I don't know if the prop bet's Jonnu Smith or however you say his name, but Minnesota gave up over 120 passing receiving yards to Mo Alley Cox last week. I mean, the Titans tight ends are going to eat. The prop bet is Kirk Cousins over under 244.5 passing yards. Oh boy. I just explained it.
I think I have a coin in my pocket. Let me pull it
up. The Tennessee pass defense is really bad, folks. They can't stop a nosebleed. I would look to the over in a get right spot for Kirk Cousins if that exists for such a guy. Any thoughts either way, Sam?
Sure, over. Why not? I feel really good about it, J-Mac. I don't know. I think, look, you're gonna win the game if you're Minnesota by running the football, controlling the clock, and keeping Tennessee off the field. I think they're going to run more than they're going to pass, so a natural lean to the under, and I never like to bet on a Kirk Cousins good game.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. All right, on to the next game. This is one of the spiciest games of the weekend for me. I'm in love with this game, and you're going to see that big, sharp versus public divide. The Houston Texans, 0-2, haven't looked good, but they've played the two best teams in the league. 4.5-point dogs. That's it in Pittsburgh. Steelers look pretty good, but they were unable to really put away Jeff Driscoll last week. I'm just going to make this case. Steelers, I believe they're second in the league in sacks. Houston's offensive line is a dumpster fire. Will Fuller may miss the game. We know how well Watson does with him. Sam, I don't see one advantage for the Texans. I don't want to say I'm putting my kids' college tuition on the Steelers minus 4.5, but I might.
Okay, well, hopefully you're ready for community college here. Look, this is going to be a 10-point game with like 2 minutes to go, and Deshaun Watson's going to have the ball. That's probably how this is going to play out. I'm not saying I like the Texans here because I think Bill O'Brien is the most unbettable coach in the NFL. Only Bill O'Brien can put Deshaun Watson in the shotgun on 3rd and 1 from the 1, right? I mean, like, it's unbelievable the things he does schematically. But I will say, Juju Smith-Schuster might not be anywhere near 100%. He didn't practice the other day. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to go. There is sharp money here. Steelers opened up -6 down to 4. I don't think the Texans win this game, but this will be a game where the back door probably never slams until the very end. So you might be holding on to that the Steelers ticket, rather, laying 4.5 with a 10-point lead, 2 minutes to go.
The Sunday sweat, Sam. You got to love those. Now, listen, I know the professional gamblers, they bet numbers. They don't bet teams. I personally don't like to bet against quarterbacks like this, like Russell Wilson. You hate betting against him because, as you said, 2 minutes left. He's got the ball and he's coming in the back door. And I got lucky with a couple of those last week. But Watson's a guy, you're right. I don't like to go against him. But let me add this. Houston's run defense, 31st in the league. James Conner got loose, had over 100 last week. It wasn't an impressive 100. He had one big run. But Benny Snell gets in the mix. This just feels like one of those grinders from Pittsburgh where they just grind you to dust. TJ Watt off the edge. I don't know. I mean, so you're saying you're staying away from this one.
Yeah, I'm not touching this one with your money.
All right, the prop bet for Texans Steelers, it's Deshaun Watson over under 1.5 passing touchdowns. Based on what Sam said earlier, I'm going to guess he's sitting on 1, 2 minutes left, and he needs to come through the back door. That's like the ultimate double sweat, huh?
It is a double sweat. I actually think the Texans cover this game. So I guess naturally I have to go with the 1 towards the 2, right? He's got 1. And the problem with that spot, J-Mac, is that the Steelers are going to go into like prevent defense.
Yes.
So be able to like chew them up, and then there's going to be a 40-yard bomb with 20 seconds to go, and it could end poorly for the Steelers and for the Watson underbackers.
Yes. All right. So a little divide there. Next game up on the card. And this is probably one of the most underrated games, Sam, of the weekend. The LA Rams getting 2.5 in Buffalo. Both teams 2-0. Both teams, I'm sorry, not both teams. The Rams are 2-0 against the spread. Maybe the most impressive victory of last weekend. I was holding an Eagles ticket, my only loss of the weekend. That stunk. But the Rams, Sam, I don't know how big you are on the travel situation, but the Rams fly east, play the Eagles. Due to COVID, they got to go back west, then fly back east. That's a lot of travel. I know if you've got the frequent flyer miles, flying around the country and playing a football game, not that easy. But man, Sam, the Rams, to me, have been maybe the second most impressive team in the league through 2 weeks. Getting 2.5 here on the road, do you have any thoughts?
I really love the Bills in this spot, and I also really like the over in this game. And the movement there is real, from 44 up to 47 already. I think fatigue could be an issue for the LA Rams here because they're going to be on the field a lot in this game. I think the play calling in Buffalo has been so good. And if one more person tells me, well, it's the Jets and I don't care. Josh Allen threw for 400 yards last week.
It was the Dolphins, Sam. Come on.
Good. Stephon Diggs down the field is a game changer. You take the top off the defense now. They do things pre-snap motion that a lot of teams just don't do. They do a lot of – this is not the Buffalo Bills from 2005. This offense is for real. And I think the Bills in a good spot under a field goal. Yeah, people took the Rams +3. Be careful, though. The Rams could be that very public underdog, and that's never good. Public underdogs are usually not good to bet on it, and this will probably close like 2, maybe even 1.5. I'm going to buy low here. Anything under a field goal, I'll lay the wood with the Bills.
It's interesting. The Rams have this narrative that they're sliding downhill, and McVay's not a genius. They were 10-5-1 against the spread last year, one of the best marks in the league, and now they start out 2-0 against the spread, and we're like, are they overvalued? So, Sam, what about the trash talk Jalen Ramsey history with Josh Allen? Remember, he called Josh Allen straight up trash in a GQ interview. Now, I don't know if Ramsey's going to shadow Diggs everywhere. Remember, Diggs took advantage when Byron Jones, the cornerback Miami spent all their money on, he goes out in like the first 5 minutes and Diggs goes nuts. I don't think he could do that against Jalen Ramsey. Any thoughts on the Rams stopping the Josh Allen hype train? I'm not on board, by the way.
I think this will be a bigger game for Allen with his feet, actually. I think the linebacking core for the Rams is in for a very tough test because Allen is more athletic. He's bigger. He's stronger than people think. He bulldozed a couple guys last week. There we go, rushing yards. Yeah. I'm thinking about the over here. Look at that. Look at the connection between the crew and I. I'm going over on Josh Allen, 42.5 rushing yards. The Bills win this game, and the game goes over the total.
Interesting. So I guess I don't have it in front of me, but I'd have to look and see how the Rams did against Kyler Murray last year, who is a spectacular running quarterback. But he was only a rookie. As you said, Josh Allen was running over defensive backs of the Dolphins last week. I would personally lean under here. By the way, Sam, I know you're gushing about the Buffalo Bills. Their run game quietly has not been that impressive through 2 weeks, outside of Josh Allen, of course. But also their defensive line kind of getting pushed around. I mean, Miami didn't turn the ball over. Fitzpatrick had a pretty nice afternoon. I really want to take the Rams here.
It sounds like a lunch bet, honestly. I mean, it sounds like we're heads up here. You're trying to talk me out of the Bills, and it's just not going to happen.
It's not happening. Okay. All right, on to the next game, Sam. Listen, this is a great Thursday night's game. Oh, boy. From all these undefeated teams and these great players, we get Miami-Jacksonville tonight. Miami getting 3 on the road. I've already made a wager on this. I took the Dolphins getting 3. Listen, it's tough to say why. I think maybe we see Tua time at some point. Remember 2 years ago, this is where Baker Mayfield came in to fill in for an injured Tyrod Taylor and kind of blew up, and it was a springboard to a big season for him. I think this could be the spot if you're Miami and you're down big early. Remember, they have Seattle after this. Then they have San Francisco. It could get ugly. Miami spent a lot of money in the offseason. Peter King, my buddies of Peter King, he loved Miami to win the division, and they're 0-2 and they haven't looked good. I'm leaning toward the Dolphins here. Not only the point spread, but I kind of like the over here.
I'm actually in agreement with you on this one, and especially at 3. I don't think this game is going to close Miami +3. So I would bet 3 right now. No feel on the total, but if I were to tell you before the season that Jacksonville would be a 3-point favorite to anybody, what would you have said, right? I mean, look, they played okay, but I've actually I know the Dolphins are 0-2, but I was very impressed with them holding the Patriots to 21. And they could have beat the Bills last week. I mean, they were up in that third quarter before a couple turnovers and things kind of, slipped out the back door there. They did cover at the end of the game. But the Dolphins here, I think, are the right side. I also think they win the game outright. It's tough to take that road team on Thursday night, but I'll plug and play. Yeah. Take +3 with the fish. I agree with you.
Also, DJ Shark, who's on my fantasy team, has just been ruled out for this one. I know you care about my fantasy team. But listen, he's one of their best receivers. But listen, Gardner Minshew, we got to give him some props. I mean, he's doing it with smoke and mirrors. Gardner Minshew favored by 3. Let's get to the prop bet, and look who it is. Gardner Minshew, the man with the mustache, 276 passing yards. I would say this is you take your family out, the wife and the kids, you take them out to dinner. It's maybe like a nice dinner, $300 meal. You knock back a couple brews. That's what I would bet on Gardner Minshew here to top 276 passing yards.
Wow, you're that confident.
I mean, Miami secondary is a joke. Josh Allen, first career 400-yard game. Byron Jones, by the way, has been ruled out. I know Howard is a nice player, but they got like 5 new starters on defense. They look so confused. Cam Newton in the opener didn't throw it much. They did have fumble a touchdown out of the end zone, or that was like a 17-point game. I think Minshew eats him up in a high-scoring, like 37-33 type game.
Yeah, well, the market agrees with you there. And if I think the Dolphins are going to win this game outright, naturally, I think the Dolphins are going to be ahead in this game. So the Jags will have to dial it up. No dink and dunk, though. I want some bombs here. I want some 30-yard throws. Put the headband on. Let's go. Lick the mustache, and let's get some balls down the field. I'm with you, over 276.
All right, Sam. Listen, we went through a lot of games this week. This was a lot of fun. And, any parting thoughts that you have for the audience?
Go Bills. Go Bills.
All right, guys, we will see you on Monday.